Good evening, televiewers. You're welcome once again to another very special edition of Prime on my Media Prime. Today on the program, we're going to be looking at a leadership puzzle in Africa with one of the finest in the domain. He has been talking about how we can make Africa better through the quality of leadership that we put in place at the level of the family, the community, our job sites, and why not the nation. Is going to be telling us what we need as Africans to turn the tides around, but he wants to focus on the very basic of our community, which is the youth. How should we nurture our leadership qualities? How do we identify them, nurture them, so that they are made very, very positive and constructive towards the building of our nations and communities. We are this evening going to be discussing with Mr. Roland Kwemain, who is the CEO vision bearer of Go Ahead Africa. They have impacted thousands of Africans across the nation. They have organized so many sessions where young people have been trained who are now changing lives across the globe. He is also, he was the JCI World President, toured more than 78 countries. He was in America, met with the greatest persons on this planet. So this evening he's going to be sharing with us his rich experience in the domain of leadership and servanthood. We are glad to have you once again with us, Mr. Roland Kwemain, but also to note that he is an author of The Impact of One. This is it. He also has this one, Impact, Teach It, Spirit, all positive mindset books that if you read, certainly are going to change your mind. There is a third one that he has also written. So he is an author of 3 books. Mr. Roland, we're glad to have you on Prime this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Kum, for inviting me. And it's always a pleasure coming back here. And I really want to congratulate you and your team for the amazing job so far. It's quite impressive, so it's really an honor for me, and I don't want to take this opportunity for granted. Thank you for inviting me.
So if you are watching us from across the globe, my advice to you this evening is to take a pen and a paper to take down notes that are going to change your life as a family head, as the mother of the house, as the father of the house, as the church leader, as the Njangi leader, as the association leader. This program is for you. Wherever you find yourself as a leader, or maybe you have those qualities in you without knowing, today follow this program meticulously, take down notes, and please meditate on whatever is going to be said out here today. Mr. Roland, I have asked these questions severally to you, that Africa is said to be I don't know, the bedrock of civilization.
Yep.
Civilization started in Egypt.
Yes.
That is in Africa.
Yes.
And Africa is so endowed with so much resources. How do we explain where we are today?
Mr. Kum, you are trying, I mean, you are addressing the issue on the African paradox. That's how we call it.
Yes.
The African paradox.
Mm-hmm.
It means we are very rich in terms of natural resources. We are also rich in our history because I think everything started here. It has been demonstrated by the science called Egyptology. But when we look at what is happening around us, I don't think we are the best so far. And it's very important for us as leaders to be truthful to ourselves. So the African paradox is something that has been in my mind for the past 15, 20 years. Well, I still remember as JCI president, my meeting with the Dalai Lama. It was November 10, 2010 in Osaka in Japan. And I asked him the question, what could be his understanding? Could he give me an explanation on this paradox? We are the richest continent in terms of natural resources, but unfortunately we are the poorest in terms of development. You know, these spiritual leaders, they have a way of behaving. They will never answer directly the question. They will question you, and at the end of the day, you will have the answer by yourself. So I still remember it. The conversation turned around the three terms. You know, we recited in primary school. We were talking about the past, the present, and the future. So one of the explanations is that, you know, we as Africans, we don't really know our history. So the past is not very known. When we talk about our history, it's a history of 200 years, you know, slavery, independent colonialism, HIV. So it's a very recent history, which is not a powerful history. But our history is 1,000 years even before Christ. So we should know that history, and it is important for us to know the past. You know, the knowledge of the past will now help us to better understand the challenges that we are currently facing. And when we have a better understanding of the challenges we are facing at the present, we can address them better. And if we address them very efficiently and in a very relevant way, then we can now talk about the future. So you see, it is linked. The past, the present, and the future. And if you look very well, we are missing something, our history. We don't know our roots. It's like a tree. A tree is beautiful. You can see it there, but if you want to destroy a tree, you know what you do, Mr. Kum? Just attack the roots. If the roots are destroyed, then the tree will die. And I think we should come back to the drawing board, to the foundation. And I think where we are missing is our history, is our past.
It's our history, our past, but the resources are there.
Yes.
We have oil, we have timber, we have cobalt, we have almost everything.
Everything.
Yes, but why can't we translate that to living the lives that we all dream of?
Now you come down to what is crucial, and that has been my passion. I think it's about the leadership.
Okay.
So I think the greatest challenge that the continent has been facing for many, many years, I mean, I think we have serious issue with leadership. Some will say poor leadership, some will say deficit of leadership. But let us make it simple. The leadership has not been outstanding, and we are paying it cash. It is in the Bible, clearly said, men without vision shall perish. And there is no leadership without vision. And when we talk about vision, there is this VIA model that I use a lot in my training. It is important for our leaders. And when we talk about leaders, not just the political leaders, I mean all the ecosystem, the corporate leaders, the civil society leaders, the political government leaders. It is important for those leaders to have a clear vision where they want to take their various organizations. Number one, vision. Number two, how inspiring, I think, and that's where we have really, really failed. Inspiration here is not just about speeches. It's making sure that we lead by example. We say what we do what we say. And last but not the least is action. We should stop being lazy. You know, we sleep a lot. You remember, Mr. Kum, we have known ourselves for many years. I keep saying this to the young people that I train or the managers that we work together. We shouldn't sleep more than 5 hours a day. We have a whole continent to build, which is my signature. We have definitively a whole continent to build. And if we want to build this continent, it will be essentially on hard work. Now, there are external factors. And I don't think we should keep, in my first book, I spoke about the ABC syndrome. We should stop accusing, blaming, and complaining. You know, if we said, okay, our organization are not performing because, you know, the colonial master, because, which is not like totally wrong, but we cannot just stand on that and not underperform and keep accusing others why we are not performing. I think we should be more solution-oriented than excuses-oriented. And this is something that we really need to take on. So my understanding and my little understanding about why we are where we are is because of the poor leadership.
Poor leadership is the reason why we are where we are. Who is a leader, Mr. Roland? That is also very crucial.
Oh my God, Mr. Kum. Yeah, I would have loved the televiewers to define. Just ask them to send you answers. Who is a leader? Okay. Now, in the common person, the street or following us, we say, okay, the leader is the president, the minister, the GO, the governor, the general manager, the publisher, the business promoter. All these are titles They are not leaders. Don't make. Sometimes we have confusion between titles, function, and leadership. So I personally define a leader as anyone. I precise again, anyone who has a vision, who inspires, motivates, has a huge influence, positive influence on people, but at the ultimate definition, who is at the service of others. So there is no leadership without service. If you ask me to define who is a leader, I would say a leader is a servant.
Okay, a leader is a servant. Mr. Roland is telling us that he is strictly in line with what Jesus told his apostles, that he who wants to be
must serve. And he said, even in his mission statement, is clear, I came to serve and not to be served. So you see that to serve, you don't need to have any position. To serve, you don't need to have any qualification. To serve, you don't need to have 10 PhDs. To serve, you just need to have that good heart. You just need to have that vision of where you are. If you're a sweeper, where you are, you said, okay, I would love that this place is clean. That is, then now you will be doing your best to make sure that the place is also clean. For me, you are a great, you can be a driver, the way you keep your car, the way you drive it, the way you talk to customers, the way you behave, all those qualities will make you an amazing leader. So leadership, again, I'm repeating, has nothing to do with titles, with qualification and position. And that's why when you look now in the corporate world, that is where I do a lot of my activities, you have poor leaders. You have leaders in that sector that are not doing well. The way their businesses are not doing well, the staff are not happy, the stakeholders are not happy, the shareholders are not happy, because you have a business guy stealing, not giving back to the community where you are having a lot of resources tapping from them. There's no CSR. So again, in all the sectors of activities, the main sectors that I keep explaining and that I keep reminding, you have the government, you have the corporate world, and you have the civil society. So if you take all these three main actors, the three major actors of modern society, it is important that in all those sectors we have outstanding leaders. I would say servant leaders. If you can be a business owner, but you are at the service of your clients and the other stakeholders. I keep also reminding this to young entrepreneurs. When you create a business, when you start a business, you are not creating it for yourself. And that's why a part of the lucrative aspect of a business, there's also a social part. It's important for you to make sure that your staff are registered in the social security, that they have the minimum, in terms of well-being, and that you respect them, their dignity. There are little things that you do, and the company is not just only your company, because you have people that have come on board, believe in it, and that they are ready even to do sacrifices for the company. So it is important to know that leadership is crucial even in the corporate world. And because when we say leadership, people will just look at the political leadership. No, I'm talking about all the sectors. Civil society, how serious the civil society, how competent are they, how honest are they, how do they mobilize, how do they do the advocacy, are they corrupt or not? Then the political or the government, how powerful they are they using the power to serve the people, or are they using the power to crush the people?
Okay, are they using power to serve or to crush the people? But when we talk of leadership, and we say Africa generally has a poor leadership, reason why we are where we are, who are we blaming? Are these leaders from heaven, or the leaders that we have are a core product or reflection of what our society is?
Now, when I say it's a poor leadership, it's not compared to the Western or to the Eastern.
Okay.
Let me be very clear, because I don't think we have lesson to learn from. No. I want it to be very clear.
Okay.
I think we are not competing with the other part of the world. We are competing with ourselves.
Okay.
And the content, I know yesterday there was a good program on development. I'm passionate about African development. I've been reading, also writing. Our development should be what I call in French endogene. It should be defined by ourselves. Our development should not be defined by other people. What you call development in the Western or in the Eastern must not be automatically development in Africa now. But again, at the end of the day, what is leadership? What is the essence of leadership? If there's no well-being, if we can see poverty around us, poverty has a face when you are traveling within the cities. That's what I'm trying to say when I talk about the poor leadership. It's not about comparing with the other part of the world. It's about ourselves. Why don't we serve the people? But again, there are other constraints. There are external factors. If I neglect it means I'm not intellectually honest with myself. Africa has also gone through a lot of fight. You have external forces that are really not making things easy for us. Man, the truth is that if I was at that position, if we are united, we'll be very strong. Now, when I was JCI president, this is something that struck my mind. With one Schengen visa, you travel to 27 to 29 countries. One visa. But do you know that with my Cameroon passport, and I had a diplomatic passport, I did that year, I don't know, I think 28 or 29 African countries, and I took 24 or 23 visas. I didn't take a visa for Nigeria because Cameroon, Nigeria, no visa. I didn't take a visa for Congo. I'm trying to figure out, but I took visa that with a diplomatic passport. So just see 17 years after independence. What is the issue? Why African leaders cannot decide that to say, okay, now no visa for Africans in Africa? Do you know what will happen? Is it France? Is it Great Britain who's stopping us? 60 years that if I want to go to Cote d'Ivoire, I take a visa. If Ivorian want to come to Cameroon, he takes a visa. If I want to go to Botswana, I went there, I take a visa. If I want to go to Zimbabwe, and if you want to come to Cameroon, he takes visa. Now, you can Google and see with a Cameroon passport, how many visas you need in Africa. This is just one decision. They sit at the table of African Union and decide. Now, some countries have gone far. Benin, free visa for African. You go to Benin. Senegal. Rwanda did it before. So online. So by doing that, because the biggest resource of a nation, of this continent, is the human resources. It's not all what we have on the oil that you have. If it was it, why are we where we are? So if the human capital start to move, there is interaction, there is movement, and I'm sure that development will speed up. So it is important for our political leader to take that decision. I'm repeating again, no visa for Africans in Africa. If you do it, there is a strong political will showing that we are one and one people. Then from there, we can move. It is a pity to see that 60, 70 years after independence, I as a Cameroonian, I need more than 27 or 30 visas to travel in Africa. It's a pity.
Okay. Lee Prince Drake say greetings to you, Mr. Kum, and your entire team. You are doing a lot to educate the masses. Thank you, more grace to your elbows. I'm watching from Boya. Nuki Louis says Arab countries or OPEC nations have a way to copy. Now, we are talking about leadership. You wrote about the impact of one, and your interest is to get all of us to know that for us to get the best of leadership, yes, it starts with us.
Yes, that's my Facebook, because when they will listen to us or Mr. Kum, they tend to say, oh, okay, Mr. Roland said the leadership is not good, and we start to pointing finger. No. The impact of one is the ability that each and every one of us has to create positive change. And that's why, if you look, I will repeat again my definition of leadership. It has nothing to do, if it was titled function, then I agree with you that, okay, the president is not doing that, the minister, the general manager. But here I'm saying the impact of one, try to demonstrate that each and every one of us has an amazing influence in his life first. If you are not happy, you make things to change. There is nobody that will make you to be happy. It's like many years African thought that the development will come from the outside. No, we are wasting our time. Life is about interest. Why do you think they will come and develop us? If you take a group picture, come where you are there 20, you are 20 guys. I've sent it many times. I will repeat again. We take a family picture. We are 20, and they give you the picture. Do you know? If I show you the picture, the first image that you are looking for is your image. It's your image. So human beings by nature are like that. So if you don't take care of yourself, don't expect someone else. If you don't love yourself, don't expect someone else to love you. So it is important for us. In my first book, I said it. We have, each and every one of us, the ability to do something. But now, by saying that at our different function, if you are a parent, you must be a responsible parent. If you're a teacher, you must be an outstanding teacher. If you're a medical doctor, now it is where you are that the impact should be created. You'll be judged by the position and the function where you are. You know, I have a good memory, a conversation with Bishop Emeritus of Boya, Bishop Bushu, who keep reminding me when we had conversation. I used to be the assistant president of CM, and then I became later on national president. And he was telling me, look, my son, this is the way God will judge us. It was like anecdote or metaphor. He said, as a teacher, he will more evaluate you on the teaching. As a driver, a minister, as a minister, a journalist, which is logic. I mean, what he was saying has a logic, because the Almighty will not judge you as a president. You are not the president of this country. He will judge you as a journalist. He made you, he blessed you to be an outstanding journalist. What did you do with the platform that he gave you? You see, from the SMS you are receiving, oh, Mr. Kum, thank you, congratulations for doing what you are doing. That's the feedback. And the voice of the people is the voice of God. And I will remember that conversation with the bishop, and then I went out and said, oh my God, now if you have been blessed, you must be a blessing. And those who have been blessed, the judgment will be very tough. So a driver or a Benskin will be evaluated as a Benskin. They will not judge you, you're a Benskiner, and they start to judge you as a mayor. It makes no sense. I think God is more smart than us. So, and from that conversation, I said, oh, then I said the impact of one. What does it mean? Where you are, do your best, and God will do the rest. Where you are, and they will judge you where you are. They will not judge you where you are not. So if each and every one of us will do our homework, where you are, you do it so well, I think Africa will become a paradise, and they will not be pointing fingers. The ABC syndrome will die. You will stop accusing others why you are not performing. You will stop blaming others why things are not working, and you will stop complaining, because you will start counting your blessings.
Start counting your blessings. But if we want to see a change a nation, should it not start within the family circle as leaders?
Even the church says it. The most important element of the society is the family. And that's why we should do everything in Africa to protect the family. If the family is finished, we are finished. If you look at the other world, the other part of the world, if you look very well where they are leading to, I don't think, I'm afraid. You have said in the introduction, I've traveled worldwide. I think we should be proud in Africa. Now, the family's goal, that's where everything starts. You know, the foundation of the human character, the human personality, everything is done at the level of family. And it gives me the opportunity to thank my parents for the quality of the values that they gave us as kids. We were 10 of us, and I could really see my mother insisting on hard work, going to church, generosity, my father on discipline and responsibility. Those are values that, believe me, when you have them at the foundation, there's nothing that will stop you to achieve your life goals. So you are saying it again. Let us repeat very, very well. Family is so crucial. That's where they give. And in the family, there are three main values that a kid. They will train a kid to say, please, when you want something, please. In a family where the guy is still, the child is still small, they will train him to say, I'm sorry. Because in his interaction with other people, he might do something wrong. So he should learn to apologize. And in the family, they will train a kid to say thank you. I remember when we do it, or when if I visit you and I give something to the kid, you ask the kid, what do they say? Then the kid, thank you, uncle, thank you, auntie. So if the child knows how to say please, because he shouldn't take anything for granted, he is not a king, he should learn to say please when you need something. It will help him to develop humility. If he learns, you tell him to apologize, to say he's sorry. It will help him to be in the approach of pardon, approach of reconciliation, approach of also knowing that he's not perfect, that he can harm someone. And when you say you are sorry, what could be a war is just stop immediately. But if you are arrogant, he doesn't know that he can say he's sorry, and that by saying you are sorry, it doesn't mean you are weak. It means you are great. And last, if he doesn't know how to say thank you, my mother keep insisting that the mother of all virtue is gratitude. If someone knows to say thank you, Mr. Kum, for inviting me. Thank you, Lord. My prayer is very short. It's thank you. Because even as Christian, you will see some of us, we can have some long prayers of request. Oh, Mr. Lord, Mr. Kum, his program is doing well, my own is not doing well. Why have you blessed him? I have not blessed me. People do those type of prayers. I mean, they are praying to God and asking, but complaining and just comparing, confusion. So the prayer is long and totally confused. I remember when I was CM National President, I keep inviting, I say, oh, dear men of honor, our prayer should be very, very, gratitude. We should learn to say thank you. Thank you, Lord. We should also have prayer of appreciation, prayers of adoration. Sometimes you are just silent and you contemplate. It's not about just talking. Now, the ultimate prayer, which is something, because you said in the introduction, my job as coach and helping corporate leaders to be performant, you need now to have what we call intercession. It means that you start to pray for others. I can go a Sunday in a church, my church Sunday, just to pray for Mr. Kum, not for myself. We do that for our client, because you cannot do the coaching, the corporate coaching, if you don't love your client. It means that his problem becomes your problems. And that's the ultimate prayer for me, is intercession. I mean, praying for others. So you see that it's not just about requesting. If you are in the request mode, you'll be so bitter. When Mr. Kum will smile, you'll be angry, jealousy, and all the rest. And you can see it. Those who are in that mode are those who they cannot influence positively, they cannot create impact, because they keep being not happy with themselves and they don't have internal peace.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. God bless you for all you are doing. I'm grateful you brought Mr. Kwemain to the program today. He's an excellent resource person, and I like listening to him. I am taking down notes. Prudence is watching from Yaoundé. Good evening to you, Prudence. This one says, good evening, Mr. Liu. We are grateful for tonight's edition of the program. Now, I want to read something from one of your books, Impartitude Spirit. Yep. You say that good things come to those who know how to wait. Great things come to those who stand up and do their utmost to get there.
Yeah. What I'm trying to demonstrate is that we have seasons in life. People will see Mr. Kum now, but maybe they don't know how you started. How long have you been in this profession? Just tell so that people, how long have you been in this profession?
I remember since 2011.
11.
Yes.
I know you since then in Boya. So people will just, but you see, it's more than 12 years of hard work, of frustrations, of doubt, of challenges, of good moments, of learning experience, of growing. Now, what I'm trying to say is an African proverb that I like, is that there is a time for everything. A time to sow and a time to reap. So, but if you have a good mastery of time, which is the best time is God time, You can there's a time you work, but you wait. That's what I'm saying. Now, you cannot wait for long. There's a time also where you need to provoke the opportunity. That's now greatness.
Yes.
So you can stay in goodness, which is not bad. But my dream and that's what we need, especially young people in Africa, they should create opportunities. They should stop being not passive, but they should be very smart. And the smartness here, we help them to now achieve greatness. Greatness, it means you work for it. You cannot work 8 hours a day and achieve greatness. Greatness is 12, 14. It's a lot of hard work. But not only hard work, but you also need to start working smartly. Technology, now we're in a program, you're on WhatsApp, interacting. So the technology is amazing. That's smartness. So I love and I really hope, I always start my write-ups with African proverbs. And this is a proof that African, maybe we did not write our story, but the story is there. And if you go to all villages, you listen to the old men, you'll be impressed by the wisdom, by what they are saying. And I've tried to document all those African proverbs. So I have more than 2,000 African proverbs that touches all the function of the corporate world.
Now, you also say the best time to sow a forest is 20 years ago.
Yep.
The second best time is today.
Yes. Just to say, when you started your career, and this, I told when we were discussing about the program that I would really want us to also talk to the young people.
Yes.
That's what I told. No need coming here and blaming the elders. It will not change great things, but it's true now. Now, I want to tell them that as you start your career, from day one, it will count. Don't say I'm very young, so I can be going to off license every day. From day one, you can start to save 500 francs CFA. Just be saving. So, what you have done 20 years ago, imagine, Mr. Kum, you were saving 1,000 as you started your career 12, 13 years ago, 1,000. Do you know what will happen? But if you said, okay, no, I'm just a young journalist starting, let me wait when I will be earning 400, 300,000, my friend, that will be 12 years, 14 years past. So what I'm trying to say, the time to do things is now, because don't wait to do big things. Humble beginnings are very crucial. All the great men and women that have marked the history of humanity all had humble beginning. So start small. There's no problem. But behind, you must have a vision. I mean, you must be ambitious about your future. But start with what you have on hand. Start with the 1,000 CFA, with this little you have. Start humble, but keep your dream alive. Now, the truth is, what is your dream? So what I'm trying to explain is that 20 years is just tomorrow. So don't think, okay, in 10 years I will do this, in 20, no. Start now, and you'll be surprised that 20 years is now. If you have missed the 20-year trend, then still start now. It's not still late. Start now. The important is to act, and act now and where you are.
Okay, we have to start now. Now, almost everybody wants to be a leader. At the level of the university, secondary school,
yes,
at the level of associations, and at the level of even the family, they want to be given pride of place. How do we start nurturing those skills and abilities to be able to manage things at that very basic level? Because if we cannot handle things at that level, even if we were made governors or presidents, we would not succeed.
Now, some are born leaders, and some become.
Yes.
Those who are born, the statistics in USA talk about 3%, because they have done the research. Let us extrapolate and use it and say even 10% are born leaders. So you have 90% that need to become. Now, I really enjoy the Anglo-Saxon educational system, because you see they have the prefect, you have the head class, you have all that. But now, the danger about it is that if they think that the leadership position that they are having is to be bosses, is to humiliate it should have advantages and privileges, then we are getting it wrong. I mean, we are sowing a bad habit, and tomorrow they are going to be worse than those we are criticizing today. So I think it's important. And I remember there was in my village when I was very young. My father took me to the village, and they had the chief. They have caught the chief, as they do when the chief died in the grass field. Then they had to catch him, and I was surprised. And I asked my daddy, "But what was the criteria to choose that guy?" I think I was in secondary school already, from 3 or from 4, and he told me, no, the criteria is essentially that they have observed the children, and the child that has always tried to bring the family together as a kid, the child that when you give him like one puff, he will catch it and give to your brother, because you have a child that you give him 2 puff, Mr. Kum, he said, "Please give me half." He refuses. A child that will take all the gift, all the food. No, the parent they observe. That guy is not born a leader. But you have another one that if you guys are 7, come, you see, if the father beats you because you did something wrong, he will be crying. He will even go and tell the father, "No, daddy, don't beat him." We have them. I still have the images. Even I come from a family where 10 siblings. So I could really see when we were kids, the one that will always want to bring the family together, the one that cares about others, the one that is so sad when they beat you. So those are qualities that will make you an outstanding leader. And all these qualities are about serving. It's about serving. It's not about high qualification, speaking French well or English or Spanish, or it's not about public speaking. No, it's about touching there's a Yoruba proverb that says it is difficult for people to give you their hand if they don't see your heart. And I love it, because it's not just, it's about touching the heart of people. It's about serving the people. It's about helping. It's about making sure that the other person is okay. And if you have all those qualities at the childhood, you become a leader. But now, if you think is wearing a different uniform, when I went to the CBN, the prefect, okay, it's about privileges, and then that's the wrong foundation. I think we should rethink the education that we give to these young people. But again, it's important for them to start taking leadership position very early, because if they take it, then they will, especially associative leadership. I love it, because when we're in the association, that's where now we know how to work with a team. We build also our action plan. We have a lot of discipline. We correct. We are very result oriented. We develop all those. We speak. Sometimes we are elected in some of the schools. They have election of their representatives. So democracy, it makes competition that creates emulation, not competition that will destroy, that is not corrupt. And then from there, your speech, your plan of action, your team, your campaign, at the end you are elected, and you see your peers, they are happy. They say, okay, Mr. Kum is our president. Then now you run the small finances. How do you run finances? You have a treasurer. How do you give an account, governance, and other? So I think it is a good approach to start it at that level, but making sure that they understand what leadership is all about. Because if they want to replicate what they see around them, thinking that it's coming late, shouting at people, wearing a different uniform, standing out of the crowd, being served, they carry your bag, all those funny things, and then I think we are even the worst is even ahead of us if we don't change the paradigm. There must be a paradigm shift on the understanding and the process of what leadership is all about, true leadership.
Hello, Mr. Kum Leonard. I'm Divine, watching from Upstation in Kwemain. A great job to you and our coach Roland, as well as the topic on leadership, especially the ABC syndrome. So when will we have the English version, Tomet 2, of the impartitive spirit? Okay, that should be somebody who knows you. Okay, that should be somebody who knows you very well.
Not yet. Yeah, this is the Tom 3, Tom 2. Not yet. He knows very well.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I really hope by the end of this year, I really hope.
Thanks and more grace to your elbow for the wonderful work. Good evening, Mr. Liu. God bless you for all you are doing to change this program. I'm grateful you brought Mr. Roland for the program today. Okay, we are also grateful you are watching out there. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and you are resource persons. I have learned a lot from watching your programs. God bless you. Nulem Emmanuel writing from Bomenda. Good evening, Mr. Kum. I'm happy with the choice of the guest today. Please ask Mr. Kwemain how one can get a copy or copies of his book. I'm a peer watching from Boya. Mr. Roland, where can they get their books?
I think the books, we have it in Boya. Merino service is at the Great Bongo Square near in Class Quarter. Yes, you have it there, but we are promoting now the online, so I want them to have it online because they keep asking Bamenda. We have books, we have tried all over the country to put, but we are also promoting the online version because more and more people want to read from their phone as you are doing the program. This guy is online on the program and he has his phone. So even in the church now we have it, but it doesn't mean because people can have the Bible in. Yeah. So there are many applications. So I think I gave you the link.
Okay, Eli, I just sent you a link. I hope we are going to.
So they can have it online.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yes, that is the impact of one. But I sent you the link. You should put the link for where they can easily get the books, free of the books. Ella, just check. You are going to have it. I sent it to you already. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I personally knew and admired your guest when he was GCI president. Kindly ask him to advise 3 key things African authorities need to do to develop their countries. He is going to answer. Kwemain Jacob is writing from Kumbu. Good evening, sirs. I'm enjoying and learning so much from Sir Roland's discussion. We are blessed having him this evening. He is a great personality. Go ahead, Roland. Please, sir, I would like to find out if CSR, some be made, some be made compulsory for all companies operating in Africa. Scott is watching from Yaoundé. You mean corporate social responsibility. Okay. You say, hi, Mr. Leo, greetings to you, and that's a great mind. I thank you so much, sir. It's Maurice Ndosa writing from Tumbel. His words are encouraging. Okay, Mr. Roland, they say your words are encouraging.
Thank you.
How can we make the environment more conducive for young leaders to emerge? That's another question for you. Mr. Roland is going to answer your questions. Okay, but now, you talked a bit about the quality of leadership we have, and you said that leadership is not the big book.
Yes.
Speaking fluent English, like the British, the American, and many persons think that, okay, for me to be a great leader for my community, I should get to the level of a professor, or let the professor lead us because he has big book, or the doctor. We strive so much to acquire certificates and to get all of this to be our leaders. Are we not also being misled at that level, ignoring persons who can lead us very well?
Mr. Kum, I think I want to thank God that at least I went to school, because if I did not go to school, they will say, okay, this guy is saying he's frustrated. Yeah. So please, I have to, I'm not like, school is very crucial, very important, but I'm repeating again. You know, in 2010, let me give you an example. As JCI president, I asked all the country I visited, I said I wanted them to offer me a book on a personality that have marked the history of the country I visited. So I received 54 books, and I put in the next year. I received 54 books, and you have it in the 44 books. Mr. Kum, you can really check. Just 3 of the books are talking about presidents. I'm repeating again. When I visited a country, I asked to receive a gift. The gift was essentially a book on a personality that have marked the history of the country. That was my request. And I received books. At the end of the day, I received 54 books. Out of the 54 books, 3 of the books talks about presidents. I don't know if you guys are getting what I'm trying to say. So 3 of the book, it means that by being a president, it doesn't mean that you have even marked the history of your country. This is the proof. Because I will ask young people, entrepreneurial leaders, please offer me a book in Jamaica. They give me a book on Bob Marley and Marcus Garvey. India, please offer me a book. They give me a book on Gandhi and Mother Teresa. So I can give the examples are here. They don't give me books on prime minister or presidents. They give me books on people that have marked the history of the country. So this is a demonstration that because the highest authority of a country is a president. Normally, I will have received 54 books of 50. Yes, that's the logic. I come to your country, I don't even know, I visit you, please offer me a book. I don't ask them, they have their meeting and they give me. So I have the books. They didn't give me books of presidents. So this is a proof that, please. Now, the question asks, how all those PhD and the professors, please, I'm not against the PhD and the professors, they are very important, but it do not make them leaders. I will define it again. So my good friend, listen to me. A leader is anyone. So it's not a special person. Anyone who has a vision, who inspires, who motivates, and who has a positive influence. And at the end of the day, who is at the service of others. There is no leadership without service. Service is at the heart of leadership. Now, if you serve your people, do you need PhD? Do you need professor? Do you need all this to serve? Now, don't get me wrong. There are technical positions that we need expert. If you are in IT and that now we have a whole team, yeah, it's about expertise. Don't get me wrong. We need them. Engineers and all that. But you can be all that, but you are not a leader. So I don't know if I've answered that question now. I want to take one of the questions, the three key things that he thinks our leaders, I think he's talking about the government leaders, should develop in order to make Africa maybe a better place. I would say number one, it is important for us to make sure that we kill corruption and embezzlement. If we do it, for me, it's number one. It's the biggest cancer. Because the resources, we are losing a lot of resources in this corruption and embezzlement. Number two is to make sure that we promote excellence. What does it mean? It means that, Mr. Kum, if you are appointed as general manager of this company, look for those who are outstanding. Don't look for your brother and your sisters in the quartier. Because if you do it, but if you are, and sometimes the leaders that have been appointed are so afraid to have around them powerful people. They are so afraid. And I think we should really work hard. But if they are afraid, it means that they have something to hide. Because if you are outstanding, you cannot be a light and you hide. A light is there to show, to push away darkness. So excellence. And number three is about technology. Technology is something that we can leverage on, especially the digital and the digital transition. And I think we should give, and if I can add the four key thing is to give women more opportunities. Women are better managers than men. Women have proven, we can see the African economy, especially sub-Saharan African economy, in the 90s when everything got broken. Women now started the Bam Salam, they get up at 4, they do many things. I think it's important for us to empower them more, to give them more opportunities and resources, and I'm sure, and this is not like the Western agenda, because if I ask you the story of your mother, it's the same story with my mother. We are what we are thanks to our mothers. It's not that women against men, but I'm trying to figure out that if we give them more responsibility and resources, they can manage better. So I think Africa can work on those 4 key elements: fighting corruption, promoting excellence, working on the technology, embracing technology, giving young people opportunities. So technology is youthfulness, and giving women crucial position, and also means empowering them, facilitating their involvement, their engagement, and I think we can go far. So the other question, Kum, if you can just, because I didn't take all the notes, there were other questions. Unfortunately, I didn't, maybe you are,
okay.
If you can just read, then I answer, yeah.
Good evening, Mr. Kum, and resource person. I've learned a lot from watching your programs. God bless you. Good evening, Mr. Kum. I'm happy the choice of the guest. Please ask Mr. Kwemain, how can one get a copy of the book? I think the links are there on the. Just follow the link. Copy that link on the screen. You're going to have it. Good evening, Mr. Lee. I personally knew him. 3 things. Okay, he answered that already. Please, I would like to find out if corporate social responsibility.
Okay, I like CSR. Yeah. The question on CSR is a moral obligation, not a legal obligation. And I don't think, I'm not even encouraging our government to make it legal, but they should continue to push the agenda, but to give incentive. So when, for instance, my media program go for CSR, if there can be a compensation, a fiscal compensation, it can help. But making it legal, making a legal obligation, I think the companies, in the corporate world, already have a lot of challenges. We shouldn't put it as a legal obligation, but we can instead encourage them by compensating that if you have a budget in CSR of this amount of money, this can be compensated in the taxation and all the rest. But CSR now, let me speak to the corporate leaders. Please, it's a powerful strategic tool. Use it. You position your brand. It will make, because in the corporate, well, as a business leader, you have many stakeholders. You have your staff. So CSR can also be internal. The way the well-being, the way they feel, and all the rest. You have the second stakeholders that are the population. The population where your business is. It is important for you to do something for that population. I mean, if they are empowered, if they are healthy, if they have water, if they are good, if they are happy, then your business will be sustainable. Then now the state also is a powerful stakeholder, because when the company are viable, when they are good, then they pay taxes. So I think it's a win-win strategy. But again, for the corporate leader, if they understand, I had a conversation with a big sister who is one of the experts in CSR, and I'm sure she's following us now, Tate Helen Siaka, and I was impressed by the job she did in the company where she were, and I really hope that more and more we should have advocacy on CSR to explain to the business owner, not only the multinational, but even the small and medium-sized enterprises, because they think that to do CSR means I have a lot of money. No, CSR can be done with little money, but it has a huge benefit. And I can tell Mr. Kum, if he wants, we can organize a program on CSR. So I love the question, but it cannot be a legal obligation. I will not advise the government to make it compulsory, but instead to push and make it such a way that when the company goes for CSR, maybe there's a compensation or incentive in terms of taxes.
Okay. Please, for the online link to get the book of Mr. Roland Kwemain, what are the characteristics of a leader in the society, and what can one do to be an extraordinary leader? Mani Mengot is writing from Gawa.
I think it's essential. I'll put it again. I would say a leader must have a vision. So, like your promised land, your dream, where do you want to take your life, your organization, your community. So, I call it in my book the 5 barometers. We have 5 lives. The career, the professional life. What's your vision on your profession, or your professional life? The family life. What is your vision for your family? The friends, on the society. What is your vision? The community engagement, involvement. What is your vision? And spirituality. So for me, the approach of a leadership is holistic. It's not just being powerful in the profession. Then the family, you are weak. You are very good in friends. You are weak in the community. Then you are very powerful spiritual. So it's something that must, all this, the part is a puzzle that, and I like the title, the puzzle. We should make sure. Now, we might not have 100% all over, but it's important for us to be aware that in order for us to be outstanding or extraordinary, we need to make sure that professionally we are outstanding, family-wise we are good and responsible, friends. We have good friends. We support our friend, because friendship is a powerful support system. There are friends that are more important, more powerful than even family members. That's why I can't do any program without thanking my big brother Ted Eyon in Boya and George Moffon. These are guys that welcomed me in Boya, brought me to JCI, and I am who I am today. People might not know them, but I'm so grateful now. Friends, there are some friends that can really help you to make in life. Then you need to pay back to the community. Mr. Kum, we're talking about some of the good stuff, your alma mater, you as a journalist trying to do some prizes. It's not about you're not a business tycoon. So you see, but because you thought about paying back to the community, and for that you have huge impact and blessing, then you must believe in God. If you have faith in God, you have fear in God, and if God is really with you and with you, around you, it will be difficult for someone to be against you, even if we are not God, because we are not perfect. So we might harm people by what we say, what we do. We are not perfect, but at least it will be important for us to make sure that the majority of people will say, oh, Mr. Kum had a huge impact in my life.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm following the program from Tico. Bidembon Me is the name. I love the talking point, and I'm quite fine with what the guest is talking about. Presently, Africa does not have leaders. Those people we see ruling us are just some group of people who are self-centered. The young people need to be educated on good leadership so Africa can have leaders of tomorrow. That was a question I was going to ask you, Mr. Roland, but I'll still take some questions. What are the core values that define youth leadership, and how can they be nurtured and developed? You're going to answer that, but let me take some of the questions. Good evening, Sir Leo Abdullah from Niger Republic. I don't know how to save money because of environment. I am okay. What can I do? Great topic. Okay, our brother from Niger wants to save.
Yes. No,
but the environment
doesn't. Yes.
Yeah, so he want us to help him out. Good evening, Mr. Liu and Mr. Roland. I really do appreciate and following up the guidelines on leadership skills. Though I've once been a leader in a youth choir, but I'm still learning more, of which I did not do. The program is good for some of us aspiring to continue with the train of leadership. Please, for the link of the book, Denzi, Bright Watching from the United Arab Emirates. The link is on our screen. But those who want, I can share with them on WhatsApp after the program. I will share with you after the program. Make that request after the program, and I will gladly share the link with you. Good evening, Mr. Kum. Kindly plead with your guests to circulate his book. I'm Gilbert and Kum, writing from Edea. Good evening, Mr. Kum. Good evening, Mr. Roland. Thank you for the nice educative program. God bless you. Fai John is writing from Banyo. What are the characteristics of a leader in the society, and what can be done to fix them? Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu and the guests of today. We want to thank God for your life, for accepting him to use you for the purpose he created you for. I want to say, through me, my wife is becoming addicted to your programs, though he is not a TV fan. May God continue to use you in Jesus' name. Jodo Mengot is watching from Yaoundé. Thank you very much. Good evening, Mr. Leonard. Extend my regards to the panelists in the house. Please help him the principles on how to build a business. Martinez Manga is writing from Modeka. Okay. Greetings, Mr. Liu and the invited guest. I'm so much impressed with the subject of discussion. Indeed, leadership is servanthood, but in Africa, we see more of bosses. Bosses want people to carry them, but leaders carry people along. Leadership is character, and character is leadership. Okay, Theophilus Njimjong, writing from Ndu. This issue of leadership and servanthood, many persons do not know. People are asking, how do I, as the manager of a structure, how do I, as the traditional ruler of a village, how do I, as this, play the servant role?
Yes. Now, you have said the traditional rulers, you know, they even have school of initiation. Okay. It might not be written, but they are really good example. Some have compromised, they have compromised those, but if you look very well, it is a whole initiation. And in that initiation, it's essentially a good mastery of the law, traditional laws, if you have a good master of the law, because there must be justice. There's nothing as dangerous as injustice. If you want social peace, there must be social justice. Now, you see that they have a good master of the law. Then they also have a lot, they are very good in terms of emotional intelligence. They will know how to take, you know, the chief, you give him, but he take and give. He knows the weak people on the but you come and give, but he shares back. Because that's how the tradition was. You look at that, those rulers. If you have been blessed, Kum is blessed, a great. You come and see your chief, you give him. Do you know that what you are giving? Then he will take. There's another young person that needs something. He will give. That's how they were doing it. Then they were also. They had their advisors that are very powerful, that advise and all the rest. But you know, the chief speaks very less. Is more a spokesperson. When he opens his mouth to speak, it means he has consulted with the advisors. Now, if you look at our traditional education, they were really grooming those guys. So I just want to say this concept is not a Western or Eastern concept. It's clearly an African concept. Now, let me maybe quickly answer to our friend who has issue with finances. I think I will advise him to do some reading on financial education. But at the end, it's not like if you learn to swim and you don't go and swim, you are wasting your time. You can read all the books on swimming, but you should go and swim. So I think it's important for him it does faire violence, you know. You should think about what are the consequences of you using your money and not saving. Think about the consequences, then you will see that the damage will be terrible in the next 5, 10, 15 years when you will be approaching, I don't know how old, but from what I'm reading, it's a young person. But really make sure, then who are your friends also? Because if you are with friends that just say, hey guys, let us go and eat, let us go and drink, let us go and spend, let us go, then it's very dangerous. So be careful on the friends that you have. Then try to look for a mentor, a role model, someone that you think have made it and that is good in financial education or management. Then you look for him, he mentor you. So that would be my advice for that our friend. Now I also asked, I think from Uyuka, how do we build a business? Now there are many training on government in Cameroon. I've done a lot of sensibilisation, a lot of trainings, many universities now. I've put it in the curriculum and all the rest. So entrepreneurship day and night. So I think, dear friend, but because I'm more than 20 years in these seminars on entrepreneurship, youth entrepreneurship, I would say simply what you have to do, observe your community where you are, identify the issues, what you call challenges or problems, write them down. Now, those problems and those challenges are business opportunities. Now, you can try to do a workshop or a seminar or training on how to come up with a business plan. Now, when you have done the business plan, during that seminar, it will help you to really build your business idea and transform. Then at the end, you now identify what is the business model that you really want. This we take in consideration the realities of your environment. So because we cannot just cut and paste, but it is important for you to do this approach. Then from there, Mr. Kum will give you my WhatsApp. We can continue the conversation. But there's a homework you have to do. How to write a business plan, write it. At the end of the process, you see what is your business model. But a business idea is essentially a problem in the community. Identify it and transform it. Now, transform means that what are the solutions to the problem you have identified? That's now become a business. There were some of the questions I think that you wrote. I didn't take down, but I hope Kum have answered those I wrote. I wrote, I think, 2 or 3 of the questions. I don't know if some went off my mind, but you wanted a question on youth.
What are the core values that define youth leadership, and how can they be nurtured and developed?
I think the core value for youth leadership is, I would say, essentially based on the value system of our culture. Okay. We shouldn't just cut and paste. Now, what are the local content in terms of culture in our communities? That's number one question. Because if you are in Nigeria, okay, maybe you are in Yoruba, you are Igbo, what are the cultural elements of your community. Then from there, I'm very keen on the local content, on the cultural content. Then from there, you understand the dynamics. The dynamic, they'll ask you, okay, how do we speak to elders? How do we manage elders in our community? The role and the place of women, of children. Now, the respect. So I would say there is not a answer that is I can give without that element. But we have some universal values that come across Africa. The number one is about respect, what we call the droit de nez. You know, you must respect elders. Very crucial. You don't come in a community because you have 4 PhDs, you have a lot of money, and you don't respect them. You must respect the culture, the people, the elders. The other element that will help that I think strongly is about excellence. I will invite young people to run away from mediocrity and work now for meritocracy. And this is excellence, not perfection, because perfection is only God who is perfect. But excellence is at the reach of human being. Make sure, when I say excellence, it means that everything you do, you must excel in what you are doing. And that is something we need to start cultivating very, there's a family where a child will bring a report card, he has 10/20. People are celebrating. They're happy in that home. Oh, thank you, Mr. My dear Leonard, you did it. Then the next home, the child brought 14/20. They shout at him, what are you doing, 14/20? Why? Then another home, the guy is 16. The father said, okay, you have tried, but why don't you have 18? Now, you see how from one home, 10/20 is celebrated, they open champagne. There are even some home, 9, they've said en français, 9/4, sur 20. 9/4, I don't know, it means that you have not even passed. But they say you had 9.5, you have tried, over 20, and they celebrate. Then there's another home, 16, the parents are very angry. They said, oh my God. So, you see, if the guy that had 10/20, they start to celebrate that, that is mediocrity. And it will take it all over and all over and all over. So we should be in a society where we instill in these young people excellence where they are, in everything they are doing. Now, don't get me wrong, Mr. Kum, or the person who, I'm not saying you excel in public speaking. You excel in mathematics. No, everybody has something it's good at. If you have decided that you are playing football, excel in football. You say you are playing basket, excel. You say you want to become an entrepreneur, excel. In everything you want to do, you have chosen based on your passion, based on your mission, based on your vision, you must excel in it. So it's one element that is for me so important. The other element is about patriotism. I think it's something we need to really, but again, it becomes so difficult to push the agenda of patriotism because when we look around us, it become our kids were not role models for our kids. Mm-hmm. We're not role models. You know, when we talk about embezzlement and corruption, it's done by parents. So they will look at it. I remember some few years ago, National Employment Fund in Cameroon invited me.
Mr. Roland, 1 minute.
Yes.
Some persons are asking for your WhatsApp number. Can I share?
Yes.
Your WhatsApp number?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you can share.
Okay.
You can share. So I remember some years ago, I think in Limbe, National Employment Fund, I was speaking on youth entrepreneurship. And I was giving the advantages to become entrepreneurs, what it takes to become entrepreneurs. I remember at the question and answer session, there were like 500 young people, I think from 4, from 4, lower say, I don't know. And one young person says, sir, Mr. Roland, you said, everything you said is so good, but around my neighborhood, those who have money are not businessmen, are not entrepreneurs. Because I was saying entrepreneurship is this. And then I asked him, who are the people who have money? He said civil servant. This guy was 14, 15 years old. I remember all the hall became so quiet. I don't know if you are getting me. I mean, all what I've been demonstrating about the advantage to become an entrepreneur, because it was Youth Week, Entrepreneurship Week, something like that. By national, we are putting all this. Now, let me be honest, young people are looking around us. It means that for that young person, you have seen the Mami doing puff or the boutiquier for 10 years or 5 years, just turning around. Then he saw maybe a civil servant that came with nice coat and has money. So how come Mr. Roland is explaining to this young person that entrepreneurship is something that will give this, will make him this. So his dream is to be a civil servant, but for the wrong reason. For the wrong reason.
To make money.
Yes, make money. No, so I think it's important for us to work that element. The other pillar that will help to nurture this youth leadership is also integrity. We must be really, the integrity is so crucial. And last but not the least, it's about technology. We need to embrace, I keep insisting on the technology. Technology can help, especially the digital. If you take the case of Rwanda have digitalized more than 120 administration, from birth certificate to passport to ID to many things, to payage to payment. So it will help a lot to make sure that we secure our fund, that we do things very fast, because with technology, and we have great graduates from Polytech, from IT schools. If you take our private university, they are doing great jobs and all the rest. So I think we should keep supporting. We should make sure that we push this technology agenda. Those are, for me, the key element that can help. If we nurture the youth, those values to the next generation of leaders, and I think we can go somewhere.
Okay, so many persons are requesting for your number, Mr. Roland. But can you do please ask? I will share his number after the program.
Yep.
Just give me some time, please. And yes, that is multitasking.
Yes, yes,
yes. So
that's the way. That's the way they do it now.
Yeah.
And you can do it because you're a young person. That's why the technology.
Good evening, Mr. Liu, and the guest of today. Want to thank God for your life, for accepting Him to use. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Nice program. Please ask Mr. Roland to throw more light on this observation. I've observed that leaders who are in charge of a public office are not as committed as leaders in private institutions. For example, a principal in a private school versus a principal in government school. Alex is writing from Boya.
Let me answer quickly, because there's a clear difference between the public sector and the private sector. Now, when I look at the client that I have, like 20-something, I have 2 or 3 clients from the public. Now, the performance, the key performance indicators in the private is completely different. So it's not that they are not good, this civil servant. It's just about the system, the way it is. The performance is not the same. You know, in a private, you come at work at 6:37, then you leave very late. But in the government, you know, it's not like that. So I think it's just the dynamic. But again, unfortunately, in Africa, the government is so powerful that if they are not outstanding, they will bring down the development. I agree with you that we need powerful government. For me, we don't need weak government. Powerful, but this power should be at the service of the development, which is not the case so far. I think that's where the issue is.
Okay, good evening to you, Dr. Mboa Hana Etonde, who is the regional delegate for secondary education for the Southwest region, a former principal of Bilingual Grammar School, Boya, former principal of GHS Bukwango. She is actually one of my mothers out there in the Southwest.
She's my big sister.
And I know how close you are with her.
She was in Hamamet during my election. So, Madame la Déléguée, chère grande sœur, thank you for everything. She traveled from Boya to Tunisia for my election. Okay. She was there to support me. And yeah, she's an amazing lady. I think this is just to tell us that in the public sector, we also have outstanding, committed people that do amazing things. Yeah.
Okay. She also, I remember how committed she was as CPDM section president for FACO, FACO 3, if I'm not mistaken.
And she does a lot also for widows, so she has a lot of a charisma, a commitment, and also very strict. When I had the school connectivity program installing computers, I installed computers lab in more than 30 schools in Southwest, and I want to say I enjoy working. And that's where you see the miracle or the magic of women. The women principals were very outstanding. I don't know how we do it. I'm not condemning men, but even in my interaction, the women were more committed in the program that we're doing. They will want the best computers. They will make sure the lab is okay. They will check. It's not about giving them something. But the men, I'm sorry, Mr. Kum, to say, I had like 30 principals out of the 10 principals, and I don't know how women were like 20 principals, but the women were outstanding in terms of management of the fund, management of the project, but also making sure that at the end of the day, the results were outstanding. And Madame Anatonde was among those outstanding women principals that I will not forget.
Okay, Madame Delegate, thank you, and extend our greetings to our daddy in the house, who should also be there with you.
Tata.
Yes. Okay, Mr. Roland, we are talking about leadership,
yes,
especially of young persons, and the key role of parents, yes, as role models,
yes,
the key role of bosses as role models, and we want our children to be the best, yes, in what they are doing. We want those we are working with to be the best as a boss. You, yeah, want to sleep with almost everybody, yeah, in your office, but, yeah, you expect the best. Do we have a key problem with role modeling?
I think that's where that's the biggest issue now. I told you that I did the seminar, National Employment Fund. I spoke, and I think I spoke well, but at the end of the day, the young person of from 4 just said, but Mr. Roland, all what you are saying, what I'm observing. So you see, leadership is leading by example. You know, in my seminars, I have the bottle of water. I drink like this. I never forget. I've told this example when we were in Boya. Then I arrived home. At that time, the kids were still small. Then we're on the table, and I do the same like this. And you see the young guy, William, at that time was like 6. Daddy, they don't do that. They don't do that. Why he's saying they don't do that? Because the mother in the education have said, you drink in a cup, but daddy came and drank directly. Now, it means that the 3 years of education by the mom, I took 1 minute to destroy everything. So leadership is also leading by example. It is important for us to be role models for our kids. I've been running the Kwemain Leadership Academy for the past, I think, 11 years. We have had more than 900 participants, 50 ladies, 50%. And with Dr. Elizabeth Fon, who is an amazing life coach, we keep asking the boys, who are your role models? And it is crazy to see that some of these young guys don't have their father like role models. I don't want to give the statistics because they are alarming. So the young boys there don't have as role model their parents or the father. Now, why do you think they don't have the parents as role model? Because the parents have not been respecting the mother. The way we interact, maybe we come late, we lie, we cheat, we do many funny things. The kids are looking at it. So at the end, we're not role models. They don't even believe in marriage because in the home that they are is hell. So why do you want? They live by what they see, by what they touch. It's not by what we are saying. Now, if we don't solve it, now and this is something I've learned also with Dr. Elizabeth Fon, is to tell the young people that are angry with the elders, please be the solution, even when you're not the cause of the problem. You can stop the curse. You can stop it by being a good father, a good husband, a responsible citizen. So, but again, you can look for other mentors, other role models. You can have a model, a role model. It can be a teacher, it can be an uncle, it can be today with social media. I'm sure some young people will write to you, would like to be like you. He can write from Bamenda,
so many,
from Betwa, from Garwa. So don't just say, oh, look for a role model. We need models. Look for them. That's my message for you. Now, if your parents are not your role model, it is sad, but that's not the end of the story. Look for that role. It can be a professional mentor, someone that you admire his professional career. It can be a spiritual mentor. It can be. So again, mentorship is very crucial for that element. Now, maybe parents also make sure that we are examples for our children. If not, you are giving a lot of difficult tasks for the society to address.
Okay. In This your book. You talk about is it the 5Ds?
Yes, the 5Ds of success.
Of success.
Yes.
We all want to succeed and possibly lead at the respective levels where we find ourselves. But Mr. Roland thinks that for you to be successful, there are certain aspects. Yes. He calls them the 5Ds.
The 5Ds.
In this book.
Yes.
So many of you are asking for his number. I'm going to share the number. I hope you will have the pains to share the link for the book with you after this, because Mr. Roland, they'll kill you this night. Okay.
They just WhatsApp, just WhatsApp, so that I will send them the link. Okay. And that's why I wanted to go digital, because I was here, I think, some time ago. I want to thank you. And the question keep coming, but the book is not all over. The first book is on the Total Station, but it's the two FNAC, so it's not really all over. And the distribution in Africa is an issue. So there's Amazon, but we succeeded with a Nigerian company, Nigeria. I wanted an African company. We succeeded to have a deal with them. So from their platform, they can send the book all over. But digital, why? Because, the digital for me is an opportunity. The digital transition of Africa can help us to go as far as possible.
Okay.
Now the 5Gs, you wanted me to talk about them? Yeah. Okay. The 5Gs developed in this book, now we even have the 10. The first G is the desire to succeed. As a leader, you must have that desire to make it. So it's desire. The second D is the decision to make sure that you put your desire into action. It means action-oriented. It's good to have the desire, but the next step is to act, to take that decision that I want to implement my desire. The third D is discipline. Discipline is very key, because most of the time, if you look at the schools, all the mottos of the school, discipline is always there. And there is no way we can have sustainable success if we are not disciplined. We saw the young guy talking about saving. He has issue of saving. Saving means you must have some hard decision to be taken. You need to work hard today in order tomorrow to be smiling. So discipline. The fourth D is dedication. You must be passionate about what you are doing. If you are not doing what you like what you are doing. And the fifth D is determination. You know, life is not easy. There are days with, days without. There are ups, there are downs. There are frustrations, there are obstacles, there are challenges. But you know what? Never give up. I mean, giving up shouldn't even be an option. So those are the 5Gs that will help you to make it in life.
Okay. We're talking about you have to be determined. For example, get this message from somebody watching from Bamenda. It says, "Good evening, Mr. Leo. Your programs are always educative. My screen has a problem, so I'm listening attentively and jotting down notes, but can't see the images. Mr. Roland is an example of a great leader. Kindly text to me his contact. Stay blessed." Vivian is watching from Ntambesi in Bamenda. That is, she cannot see us, but she decides to stay put, to listen to us talk, and then she's taking down everything that you are.
Mr. Kwemain, I want to thank Vivian. This is my advice to some of my clients, the managers or the GM. I tell them that every time that you have to communicate, radio, television, never speak for yourself. Speak such a way that the person listening should understand. So I'm not speaking for myself, and I want to thank Vivian for this feedback, because her screen is bad, but she says she's enjoying. And one of the greatest way to know that you are doing well is radio. Because television, you know, the radio, they don't see you, but the way you articulate, and I want to thank Vivian for that. Hoping that she will arrange the television very soon, because you need to watch many other good program on Prime Media.
Okay. Now, I am Pastor Anya Daniel Anya. Sir Roland, I just want to thank you so much for being patriotic. The problem in Cameroon is that we really don't know who else to trust. The public sector, as well as the companies or associations that in time past came up with ideas of sponsoring business plans, did so with hidden agendas. How do we find a trustworthy sponsor, please? Okay, the pastor is writing, but I'm sure more than 15 persons have written with the issue of coming up with a business idea and a business plan.
Yeah, I think there is this issue that people think they will steal my business. The written part of business is just a written part. It represents 20, 30, 40%. But there's the soul that nobody can touch. You know, my dear Leonard Kum, you are unique. Roland Kum is unique. what I'm trying to say is that don't be afraid to say people should know your business plan. By the way, it's important today in the modern world to document a business. We cannot do the business like before, just up, up, up. It's very important. But it doesn't make you to be successful. But document it, do your training, make sure that you have good mastery on financial education, because a business is money. A business is money. If you don't know how to manage money, then there will be issue. Money will come in, garbage out. So it's very important. But what is also important is that a business is an inspiration from God. The vision was sent to you. So don't be afraid to share it. Nobody can really copy it. They might copy the way, my company, I publish every day what I do. After this program, I'll write. I'm not afraid. I write. But we are growing as a business. So don't be afraid, because you are unique. There is the soul of your business that nobody is like 20 mommy doing perform and being somewhere, but there's one mommy that you always want to go there. So again, what is that uniqueness that you have? And if you know it, then you are gone. Now, there's another element that will help is your personal inventory. Why do you want to do the business? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are the obstacles that will disturb you to achieve or to start that business? What are the possibility of growing the business? Where do you see the business in 5, 10 years? Don't just do there. You must have a short term, a middle term, and a long term, because you can decide that, okay, you break even after 1 year. It means that you'll be struggling. People will laugh at you, but Mr. Kum is not having more. But you know that you have 1 year to struggle. So you must know where you want to go. And and then there's another element that's very crucial in business, is the mindset. Business is not something easy. People think because you have failed all the concours, you have looked for work, you don't have work, and then just go and do business while waiting. Everything that you are doing while waiting is so dangerous. So be serious. And I have a joke for my mother. When we were kids, she had 7 boys. She said, okay, I don't want any guy to come here and pregnant a lady. If you pregnant a lady, you get married to the lady. We were looking at it, because she had the boys. And that, it was important, where the kid was, she said, I don't want to hear the story or the water, I was just quenching fire. She said, no, you are quenching the fire with the water that after the fire has quenched, you should drink. What the lesson behind? We have to be very careful when we even start a business or the choice of our partners. Don't say, okay, I'm just starting, it's just temporary. Temporary can become final, then it will become difficult. So even in that temporariness, make sure that the principles are there, the righteousness, the discipline, and all. It's very important, because even if you are doing the business, you are going to the business because you don't have any choice, it's the last option. But please be passionate about it. I said it. I default the first condemn if we misconfess. So if you are not doing what you love what you are doing.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. The program is so interesting. I'm all ears. Mr. Paul, writing from Bomenda. Good evening to you, Mr. Paul. I will take few messages. Good evening, Mr. Leo. I'm so blessed with the teachings of this evening from Mr. Roland. Please, I would like to have his contact and the titles of his books to read them. Also, his social media names. Thank you very much. Madu is watching from Bomenda. Thank you, Mr. Kum. The topic of today, addressing the African leader puzzle, is amazing. Good evening, sir. I appreciate you. May the Almighty continue to guide you. From Ebon Ekoge from a home village in Tombe. Good evening, Mr. Leo. I'm enjoying the program. As always, may the good Lord continue to increase you in grace to inspire life. Please, I would like to have the contact of the entrepreneur. Good evening, Mr. Leo. I'm very happy to always listen to your programs, More Grace, in informing and educating the people. Thank you for bringing a great resource person. Mr. Roland, I really wish to know more about drawing up a business plan. Can you please ask him for his WhatsApp number? Landry Ivo is writing from Bingo. Congratulations, Mr. Liu and the guest in the studio. Your TV program is more than inspirational. This question to Mr. Roland: can Africa be truly united under one social and political system going by its present leaders? Vivian is writing from the United Arab Emirates. Tell us a bit, Mr. Roland. I see you have written many books, which therefore means you are a constant reader. What and how can one do to have the constant reading attitude? Because nowadays we barely read books. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I like your program, especially the topic for today. It's really wonderful. I'm learning a lot. God bless you and your guests. More power to your elbows. Madam Josiane Kame, writing from Yaoundé. Good evening, Mr. Liu and Mr. Roland. I really enjoy the program. Leadership is an essential element of any successful society. I humbly request for Mr. Roland's number by Godfrey, writing from Bengui. So many questions.
Can I answer?
Okay.
Okay. Our friend from Emirates, the constant reading attitude. I think first is to look for books that are linked to your passion. Don't go to books that are very complicated. If you are passionate about kitchen, about cuisine, about culture, about in my case, I love biography and autobiography. So these are things I read a lot quickly. I like the stories of people that have inspired me. So by doing that, and you are totally right, you cannot be a writer if you are not a reader. I even say leaders are readers. If they stop reading, they stop leading. So it is important. And by reading, they are learners. She asked a question on African unity. Is it a dream? I think I believe in African unity, but it will not be done directly 54. They should start, those who are friends should start going. For me, the first big step that is very symbolic is visa. If they drop visa free for Africans in Africa, my dear friend, you don't know what will happen. Let us start by small things that do not take a lot. Then later on, we can see if in terms of where the intersection of our policies, it can be first on the economy, the corporate, the business, then later on we'll go maybe the military, then politics. So again, but I believe that the economy unity should be the first element by number one, that is so simple, visa free for Africans in Africa. We do it, then I think the economy will go, because the strength of the human capital is more powerful than the other capital. But if the men, I mean, human beings don't even interact, we don't meet, we don't travel, we can't see, then I think we're just turning around. But I have hope that sooner or later and more we saw how there's an African consciousness, because if we don't go together, we're going to die together.
If we don't go together, we die together. Okay, good evening, please. I like the program. Please, can you give me the number of this great and dynamic man? I'm Reverend Titus, writing from Yaoundé. Okay, Reverend, I'll send you his number. But mostly WhatsApp, don't call, just WhatsApp him. Good evening, Mr. Kum, following live from Bamenda. I'm enjoying and learning so much from our point man. My few minutes of being on, I'm having a transform mind here from Bamenda. Humbly plead for your guest's number. Rafa Chick writing there. And this one says, wonderful program, Mr. Liu. Thank you, Mr. Roland, for educating us this evening. Odilia watching live from Galim. Please for Mr. Roland's number. Mr. Roland, what role does education play in instilling leadership values in young people, and how can educational institutions better equip them for leadership roles?
I think the education system is very crucial, and for many years we have copied and pasted the Western, and now we are Eastern error. The content of our educational system should be based on our own agenda. What do we want? What are the citizens that we want to mold? What are the areas and the type of staff, human power that we need? So that's the conversation before. And to do that, we should put all the stakeholders on the same table and give input. Then we build the curriculum based on our agenda. You know, the Western, when they colonized, they came, they wanted civil servant, people in the office, so they did it. But it's really unfortunate that 60 years after, the content should be total, I mean, it should be disruptive. Now, I will give an example. If we take the Southwest, or if we take the Sawa, we'll see that maybe they are good in fishery. their good, their culture. Why don't we define that now we are going to train modern fishermen, an economy, the water economy, the economie bleue. Where is the university on that? The educational system should be. Then we go now to the grass field. Based on the reality and the culture there, we build a curriculum. That's how we have, our development should be think ahead. Then now the educational system is a support system. It comes to produce what will help us to build and achieve our development goal, not the inverse. And so far we have been doing the inverse. We just copy and paste. Okay, now it's IT. Oh, hot cake is business. No. I think we are just turning around. And I always tell even my client that reflection precedes action. You see, there's the 3 dimensions of the human. The first is thinking. You think, then now you speak, and you act. But if you look, Luna, when you even ask me a question, we are live on TV. But I will take even 5 seconds to think. You don't just ask me a question and answer. Mm-hmm. So thinking is always number 1. But I have the impression that we have put essentially stomach and under stomachs. But the head, we don't want to make use of the head. And making use of the head is not about having 15 PhD professorate. No, that is not, I would not want to use a big word here, we're on TV. But that's not, it's about just asking ourselves simple question. Number 1, first question, what is the content of our development? When we say we're a developed country, what does that mean? It doesn't mean to have story building 15. Does it mean to have highway? What does it mean to be in Cameroon, in Africa? What does it mean to be developed? To be developed, what does it mean? That's what we first define. Now, when we have defined it, what is the content for our development? We put. Then we are finished. We bring it on the table. Hey, expert. Now, this is the citizen that are going to bring that development, that are going to drive that development. Fishermen. But if I say your son should be fisherman, what do you think? Mr. Kum say, Mr. Roland, are you kidding? My son is fisher. If I say your son will be agriculture, my son. So
those are the values we've given to these professions.
Yes. So when you have failed, I say, go and do tailor. It's a punishment. Mm-hmm. Go and do mechanics. Dull boy. Go and do errors. Even we. But it's not the fault of the parent. So it should be think at the macro. First element, what is the when are we going to say we're a developed nation? Not the Western way telling us. What are we going to say? We put it, then expert come. Then now, we start to have a profile. What is the profile of the African citizen of tomorrow that will drive that development, the African one? If you look at the document and all the rest. Then now, we start to train them. So the training is an answer. When I go to companies, they say, okay, Mr. Roland, go ahead, please help us. We need to train 25 staff on question. What are the issues? Oh, I think they are not performing. Why they are not performing? They are not performing. They are lazy. Why are they lazy? And at the end of the day, I said it in one of your programs, the problem of companies, some of the time, are the owner or the leaders. Show me your organization and I will tell you who the leader is. Because better leaders create better organizations. It's about leadership. A poor leader will have a poor organization. An outstanding leader will have an outstanding organization. Leadership is very crucial. So again here, you will train that young person with that profile, and now he will carry that development. If we do it, and there will be maybe we can decide that our next element of our content will be fashion. It will be movie. It will be culture. It will be music. Then we do it. What we call national advantage. You see Ethiopian tourism. They understood. And they built on it. Ethiopian Airline is the first African airline for the past 5 years. Number 1, Ethiopia. So from there, they have built an economy, an aviation economy, in all aspects. the question for maybe my country is, what is our national advantage? Then from there, we build on there. Mr. Kum, when you are there, you present, what are the elements where your strength? You know it. Where are your weaknesses? You know it. Then based on that, you capitalize. Maybe you are good in social interaction. You prepare your programs. You have built. You came here a few years ago. Look how the program. You should be proud of that. I don't know if this is the platform to say that, but it's about leadership. Another person will come and put the nonsense down. It's about leadership. They can give this program to someone 2 months after, you see what it is. You want to argue with me? We'll try it. So it's about leadership. Better leaders create better organization. If we don't define the content of our development, where the society, tomorrow if we say a shoe mender is about shoes, then the society will build it. But if we say no, shoe mender is nothing, we'll still making literature, philosophy, geography, all those people are passing in 10 papers, in 5 papers, degrees. They come out from the university system, my God, with no skills. After the number of years, I have young people around me. They graduate. No, it's not their fault. They finish or they come and they cannot. You bring them in a company, the corporate world that produces. The guy cannot do anything. He cannot. I mean, it's not bad faith. You tell him, okay, young man, welcome. This is my company. What can you do? Uncle, anything. Master's degree. It's not his fault. So I think something went wrong somewhere.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Please, the program, please, can you give me the number of this great and dynamic man? Good evening, Mr. Kum. I'm following up the program very closely. Mr. Roland, listen, the 5 Ds he has just mentioned: 4 desire, decision, discipline, and dedication. What is the fit? API is watching from Boya.
Desire, decision, number 2.
Okay, decision,
discipline, dedication, and determination.
Okay. Wonderful program, Mr. Liu. Thank you, Mr. Roland, for educating us this evening. Odilia watching live from Galim. Okay, please, for Mr. Roland's number. Good evening, Mr. Liu. The program is really encouraging. My regards to Mr. Roland. I'm Samuel Evans watching from Moliko. Good evening, Mr. Kum. Thanks to Mr. Roland for educating us. Please, Mr. Kum, Mr. Roland is from which region? Good evening, Mr. Liu and Mr. Roland. I'm glad to have stumbled on this program today. It's inspiring for an aspiring entrepreneur like me. I humbly ask for Mr. Roland's WhatsApp number. Angui is writing from Kwemain. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I love your program. As leadership is concerned, your first value is your closeness to Christ Jesus, second skills, and your character. And without this, you will not go far. Please, with Mr. Roland's number. Good evening, Mr. Kum. I'm so impressed with the topic of today. I wish to have more highlights on business planning. P. Eugene is writing from Kutaba. Good evening to you, Mr. P. Eugene. Now, we have just 15 minutes. The role of women in the promotion of outstanding leadership in Africa today.
Yes, I think we are touching a point that is very crucial. Now, when we talk about women, it's not the international agenda. In my conversation with you I've asked you, and I know the role of your mother in your education. I keep taking the example of our mothers. My mom got married at the age of 15, gave birth to me at 16, and got 10 children. Believe me, I saw this lady getting up every day at 4 to do her puff and beans and to taking care. I mean, she will give birth today and she can jump only one day. One day. She give birth today, there will be only 1 or 2 days that they will not puff. Then she do it. She does it. Now, what I'm trying to explain is that this is the story of all our mothers. It is important for Africa to give more responsibilities to women. Why I'm saying this? Because God gave them managerial skills, amazing managerial skills. You know, with a lady, with the little that she has, she can really manage a home.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we should give them more. We saw what our moms did. Then I had a study that my observation is not really like this, but in the 90s, when we went through the adjustment from the World Bank and IMF, where our economy, sub-Saharan, really collapsed because of those decisions that they imposed to our leaders, our head of state and all the rest. Those who succeeded, you know, the companies were all the parastated, closing. Those who helped to continue paying the school fees of the kid were our mothers.
Yeah.
Buy and sell them all over the place. So what I'm trying to say, if we had a system that could support, for me, those are the people they should give money. Not civil servant in offices and just making some papers, embezzle and all the rest. We give those mummies more money for their perform, more for their fruit and all the rest. You know, and you know, women are also afraid to steal because they're afraid to go to prison. You know, women were very courageous. Kum, I can look at you like this and say, Mr. Kum, please give me my 25% there. And you know, women, we can do that. But women, I'm not saying they are not, but it's something it's not easy for them to do that. And it's very minimal. So, and last but not the least, women give birth to humanity. They have the tendency to take more care of their humanity. So it's not women against men. I'm a man. I'm not like saying, I'm a responsible man doing a lot for my family. But what I'm trying to say, I really need to appreciate what I've seen my mother doing. I see what my wife is doing. I see women around me, what they are doing. I think Africa should really capitalize. You know, God gave us two legs, men, women. We have decided in Africa to work on one. I'm not saying women should compete. No, they still have their places. There's no doubt about it. But if we give them more means, more support, I'm sure that we are going to gain a lot.
Okay, so women, I'm sure they should be smiling from... Okay, thank you. We are actually very grateful to our mothers here because they did a lot, even with the little they had.
Mm.
Now, when you look at the African youth today,
Yes.
we are mostly not interested in reading. We spend most of our time humanizing in beer parlors, wanting to get rich quicker
Yes.
than actually taking time off to follow the right path
Yes.
to success.
Yes.
What is the problem?
I think it is a consequence of the modern society, the social media, where we have portrayed people think being successful. You know, Mr. Kum, I'm on air on TV. It will be an error to think that I'm the most intelligent, I'm handsome. It's an error. There must be an element of humility. When I come to this program, I'm not coming for myself. It's not to be famous. I have been blessed, you know. It's not about. So I think young people are not prepared also for that. If you take a comparison, in those days, musician, the way the stardom was done and now, you see that there's an element to work even on the humility of those who are even stars. Now, let me be honest. I've met some of these young guys that are very humble, very nice. But if there's not a system of coaching and mentoring, then we're in danger because people think everything they see on social media is true. Because, okay, I've been on TV, now I'm a star. You know, you can go and turn a clip, do a clip, it's not with their car. I still remember my people in Boya. When I got married with my car. I didn't rent a car. It was a principle. 21 years after, I'm still married. I didn't go and rent a car, rent this, because I will not forget my big brother, Ted Ayon, who was like Roland. We don't want it. I had my Carina E. It was it. Bro, I'm still married. I'm happily married. So what I'm trying, I don't know if you're getting me. I could have rented. People go and, you see some people, they go and take a loan. They do marriage of millions. Like, this is madness. So we need to come back to the fundamentals. What is essential? You see that what is essential God gave us for free. The air, the time. So we are the people that are not making good use. So there's a whole education to the young people. And sometimes I'm worried about the future if we don't quickly calm down. Because shortcut, things are very fast because of the technology, but there's a time for everything. A time to work and a time to celebrate. You cannot, from Monday to Sunday, you are going out, drinking alcohol. What are you celebrating? What have you invented? What have you done that you are celebrating? It's like when I was in Boya for many years, graduation, I never wanted to go to graduation because I didn't understand why people would celebrate a degree. People will celebrate a level. Primary, what are you celebrating? What have you accomplished? Celebrating a paper? What have you created? So you see, we need to rethink our society. And then they will not celebrate the mommy that have been frying performance beans. She produces. The mommy that is doing aero. I celebrate her. You know, a young man go to school and he passes his degree. You wanted to fail? My question to them, do you wanted to fail? What have you done? You went to school. Come on. You went to school to pass. What are you doing that you will not pass? Now, if you create something, you invent something, entrepreneurs create, transform. Then you create companies, create this, we can celebrate you. But look our society, you know, this is my joke last, I don't know if we have again time. You know, the 20 medals. From our first kid, William, Daddy, why you don't have medal? I told him, to have a medal in my country, you need to work so hard. It was 6-7 years, so the daughter also came. 20, Daddy, why you don't have medal? No, to have medal, you need to work very hard. Now the last born is Enzo. He came also, you know, it's a matter of generation. Daddy, why you don't have medal? Then the first two, the elder, no, Dad doesn't have medal because to have medal, you need to work so hard. And then the young man, but I thought Dad is working so hard. It is not me who will tell my children that some people that have medal, sometimes you don't even want to have that medal. But it is my duty to tell my kid that to have medal is hard work. But again, in our society, who do we celebrate? Who have the medal? Is it writing your thesis, going to university, stealing, doing funny things? I have it, and you can't produce. For me, the medal is my mother. 10 kids, performance beings. Today, 27 grandkids, 10 married. Mutengene. For me, she need 100 medals. Is my father, my late father, hero. Teaching in police college Mutengene, all his career, never walked in a road, never took 5 francs, refused even to be there, and telling me face to face, my son, I have worked 33 years, I did not take money. And you guys will see what will become to me. Because there's karma, there's curse. The money you take, you do things after you don't understand generation. In the Bible, even in the African tradition, there's curse. Called malediction. It exists. So what you are doing today, Kum, you might not pay it, but generation, you know it. Ask your elders in the village. They will go and do something to stop it. In the African tradition, even in the Bible, we Christian, there's curse. They say generation has been cursed. It means you did not do anything, but what your parents did. So sometimes we have to be very careful the way we are doing things because we might not pay it, but our children or our children will pay it.
Okay. Now, are we also, you are sounding very worried about the future.
Yes.
Do we also have an issue of parenting? Because that is also where leadership starts. Are we as parents failing to inculcate those values that we're inculcated onto us by our parents? Almost everybody is very busy today with children.
I have to be honest to you, I don't have a solution to this because it's a question I've had with many, especially in the corporate world. Those that are my clients, we are very busy working, looking for money. And at the end of the day, our parents were far better than us in terms of parenthood. I have to confess. Because if you see what your mom, your parents, it's not sure that we will really do it. Now, it's not the fault of the parent now. It's not totally the fault. But I'm happy, you know, of you told me when you are free, you rush home because you want to play with the kid. So what I'm trying to say, we might not have the time 100% that our parent had. Because today we're in Jangis, we're in meeting, we're in social, we're at this. Then the corporate world also takes our time. Look at this time, it's almost 9 p.m. We're still on air. I think you do that every day, so it's not easy. But again, it is our responsibility and our obligation to organize ourselves. What I do is that when I'm at home, I make sure that I give the maximum to the kids. So I will talk here about quality time because I keep traveling, I'm never there, up and down. But when I'm at home, I make sure. So it's just to organize yourself that when you are in the business or in the workspace, focus and concentrate and do the work very well. When you are with friends, look for time, maybe once in a week, you can have some time with friends. We take the 5 barometers. The first one is the corporate, is the career, the professional life. You have to do it so well. The law says 8 hours, not 8 hours in the work, 8 hours of work. So if you really work 8 hours, it's going to be great. Then now, the second, this is the family. You must have quality time with the family. Go back home, check the schools, what is happening, discuss with the kids. Despite the tiredness, and I think women are doing so well, it's very important. The third are friends. You must look for time, even once in a month, or even after, to call. You might not meet because you don't have time. If you don't call your friend that you are so busy, I'm so busy, the day you have a challenge or an issue in the family, they will not come. So it is important for us to find time. Don't say, I don't have time. You must be a good friend. The fourth is the community. Your community is there. They say today is community level. You say you are very busy, you're a television star, you are not coming. Very dangerous. Tomorrow when there will be issue, the community will not be with you. Last is the spiritual life. You must have faith and trust in God. Look for time and serve your God. Very, very important. Now, when I've said all this, you will see that it's a matter of organization. It's a matter of priorities. But sometimes we put all our energy maybe in the work and we forget about the family. We put all our energy maybe in the family, we forget about the work. So it's hard to have a balanced life. And I advise you to invite a lady, Dr. Elizabeth Fon. She's an amazing coach on professional, because it's a way of doing it. Because the question I ask me, how do we balance? You are a parent like me. We have the impression that our parents were better than us in terms of parent, which is true. They had more time, they follow up. Today you have parents that don't have time. They don't even know. Then they will call you tomorrow and say, your son is a thief. He has a gun. You say, what? I'm seeing, I watch the news here in the schools around us. They open the back of the children. Madam Delegate is following us. We are surprised. You see, they say a young 12, 13 years, he has knife. Even the parent can't believe. How about drugs and all? So I think there is a whole question about our society model. What is how do we want to model our society? And these are tough conversations that we need to have and to see. Now we are talking about like monoparenting. You know, a lady who is taking care of a child alone. How do we think the child will be tomorrow in terms of balance, emotional balance? How do we, I think there's a whole conversation. I don't have answers. I've been questioning myself with some friends about rethinking our society, like I said about the development. We should rethink the development. What do we want for our society? What is the way we are seeing our society? What is the place of the family in our society? Okay. If that's the case, then we need to define it and see how do we support the families.
Good evening, Mr. Liu. I like what is going on now. Please, can I have our brother's number? Make those requests, especially on WhatsApp. Good evening, Mr. Kum. I'm watching from Swap. Please, if we can have the guest's number, just write me on WhatsApp. I will share his number with you guys. Kudos to you, Mr. Kum Leonard. Your program is so inspiring. Nelson Eugene writing from Tico. Good evening. I'm writing from Equatorial Guinea. The program today is so great. Wisdom and knowledge so impactful. Thank you, sir. You are a blessing in Cameroon. Aaron is writing there from Equatorial Guinea. Good evening. I'm writing. I'm gaining knowledge. Jusilia watching from Bafoussam. Good evening, Mr. Kum. Love your program so much. Keep it up. Ashu Jr. is my name. Good evening, Mr. Kum. Enjoying the program very well. Please ask Mr. Roland whether it's good to start a business with big capital, or we can start with small capital and increase the capital later when it stabilizes. Biggie is writing from Bamenda. Special thanks to His Excellency Roland Kwemain for highlighting the fire need for full inclusion of women in the leadership process of our nation. From Dr. Agbo Magdalene in Boya. Okay, one very dynamic lady out there in Boya, Southwest Regional Capital, who is
she's among the lady that welcomed me in 1998 in Boya.
Okay.
Hello, Auntie Meg. She keep calling me Excellency. I have beg her. Amazing, Dr. Meg.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Leo, and good evening, Mr. Roland, and thanks to Mr. Roland for educating the society in reasoning along line with him. Ethiopia is for airlines and Kenya is for tourism. Prof. Abanda is writing from Boya. Mr. Kum, bring these kind of people on board to keep educating the society. Those who have ears will hear. We want to thank you, Mr. Roland, for coming.
Thank you so much. I wanted to give my YouTube channel is official Roland Kwemain. I think it's in the background, official Roland Kwemain. Then you can give my WhatsApp.
Okay, no, many of them have it already.
Those,
yes,
okay.
Those who do not have, just make that request on WhatsApp. I'm going to share his number with you so that you can ask for the link to get the books online. Thank you, Mr. Roland, for coming. We are grateful.
Thank you, Mr. Kum, for having me. And I want to, as a final word, to say leaders are learners. If they stop learning, they stop growing. So keep learning, keep reading, and God bless you.
We want to thank you all who watched this edition of Prime R across Cameroon and out of the nation, and also to say thank you to the production team, Eli and Desmond Tabi, Tambe Bryant for supervision. We are eternally grateful to all that have been happening out here, thanks to your support and commitment.